The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard details of how Minister Senzo Mchunu and Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, persuaded Vusimuzi Cat Matlala to open a false case against policemen investigating him. This was the submission made by Witness C, a forensic expert with the KZN Political Killings Task Team, who was roped in to assist with investigations into Matlala and another murder accused, Katiso Molefe. Former Interpol ambassador and security specialist Andy Mashaile joins us for more on this. A very good evening to you, Mr. Mashaile. Really appreciate your time tonight. Quite shocking and very disturbing testimonies coming out of the Madlanga Commission, just showing how deeply entrenched criminal syndicates are in the police service. Now, based off your experience in Interpol and security, what have been some of the key revelations for you?
The fact that the police senior officers could request a suspect to provide them with an affidavit that implicates a man who has not committed crime, so that particular person must be arrested, taken to trial within the SAPS. They call them trial disciplinary actions, and so that particular person can be expelled or dismissed from SAPS, which is crime on its own, which shows lack of integrity, which erodes trust. And when you compare what Witness C and General Bekitele shared with us at the ad hoc committee, both you and I could see the corroboration when Bekitele says Matlala told him that General Sibiya approached him to say that the PKTT that went to raid stole the Rolex and the jewelry of his wife. And these are some of the revelations that both you and I, Masa, would stand shocked when we listen to them and watch or take a look at them. This is not what you expect from law enforcement.
And so, talking about this is not what you expect from law enforcement, because essentially these cases are opened against other police officers is men in blue, men and women in blue fighting other men and women in blue.
You know, Masa, it's so exciting. I have listened to various sides of the supporters and those who are detractors to General Mkhwanazi. I once again take my hat off for being brave, for being in a position to say this is not acceptable, this defeats the ends of justice, this must be stopped. If it's me, let it be. If my life is on the line, let it be. But we must correct the system. We are seeing systemic weakness that transforms into a satanic system, Masa, that is used to commit crime, to create platforms for various forms of organized crime, being drugs, being cash and transit heists, be it robberies. I mean, Masa, you and I, when democracy dawned on us, we thought law enforcement agencies will help in the fight against crime, crime prevention, crime combating, and crime detection. But what we are seeing is scary and must be stopped.
And also what we're seeing is a problem from the top down, because what does it mean for our security as a country that some of our senior police officials are allegedly involved in these drug cartels? I mean, it was Witness A that made mention of the Gauteng Police Commissioner and another Deputy Commissioner.
Some of them I have worked with, Masa, at that level. I know General Mtombeni very well. I know General Shibir when he was still a colonel. And I know General Mkhwanazi when he was still at operational response services. And this is very worrisome. When at the top, men in blue would want others at the top to look away when crime is committed, or when they themselves commit crime, or when those who do not believe that crime should happen, they expect them to look away and not do anything about it. Masa, I have known and I've seen these things over a sizable number of years. there is a certain female brigadier who was framed. He used to be leading the PSS or the flying squad in Gauteng. That woman is out of a job after being framed by some individuals. So when we see these things that are happening, Masa, we appreciate those who want to clean the system. Those who don't want to clean the system, we will never at any point in time say it is good for them to run the business as usual.
And Mr. Mashaile, as you're mentioning, you know some of these officers as well, and there are those who are trying to clean the system, but are they outnumbered and outpowered by those who aren't there for the right reasons?
Masa, in this country, the number of criminals compared to the 60+ million people in this of South Africa, the number is very minute of criminals, say around 500,000 criminals in our country, out of a country of 60 million people. And you look at plus minus 200,000 police officers with a small number, but that is so deeply rotten, some of them. And when you look at the organized crime nature of the syndicates that we have seen in the process, it scares you, and it scares like witnesses, like witness A, B, and C said, they don't want to be seen publicly because they've got families. They themselves must go to the shops and do purchasing of groceries and that kind of stuff. So it tells you the small number of criminals and organized crime syndicates are so powerful because they don't have to do the job. Those that they facilitate the evil platform for will be able to eliminate people like witness A, B, and C. And I have a responsibility to say the people of this country, as a leader myself, must protect people like witnesses A, B, and C. When we all rise and say hands off witness A, B, and C, we will also be participating as the communities in a partnership with the police for crime prevention, crime combating, and crime detection.
And while we're also calling for their protection as well, and while the testimonies are still underway, those implicated officers, they remain on the job. Surely this is a concern, or should we have to wait for the commission to be over, and if so, why?
Masa, you and I both know, if you are going to be accused of misconduct from whence you are sitting, we will see, you will receive a letter that says, stay at home, we are investigating the misconduct, and you will only come back after your disciplinary action has cleared you, or we will see you permanently staying at home should you be found guilty. I am surprised that labor relations in some of these organizations that we are observing experiencing a different kind of the labor relations when it comes, the labor relations principle when it comes to misconduct and grievance procedures. It is surprising that you don't find people being suspended, particularly those who are accused of serious crimes like we have learned.
There's also the matter of judicial officers who've been mentioned several times by different witnesses. Allegations leveled, for instance, at Acting Judge President Audrey Ledwaba and the Pretoria Chief Magistrate Vusimuzi Matlala. Do you think they should be placed on special leave too, considering how crucial the judiciary is when it comes to fighting crime?
I think they should. And if you ask me, why do you think so, Andy? When you look at the public sentiment, it's very negative with regard to those that have been mentioned. You and I have been scrolling and surfing the net, looking for comments, looking for public sentiment, looking for factors that would go into your strategic analytics, as some of us do. You will realize that the way and manner in which this matter is unfolding, particularly the issues of labor relations in our country, superimposing them on the process. The public sentiment is very negative towards SAPS now. So if I were to be giving advice to the head honchos of SAPS as well as the ministry, I would say put them aside, even if it's the judiciary. Put them aside until the processes have kickstarted and they have been they've been finalized, so that you increase confidence, one, in the judiciary, two, in the law enforcement agencies, so that you can have the integrity that you want running in the system, and also the integrity and the legitimacy in the two processes that are juxtaposed, and that is the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry as well as the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee.
Mr. Mashaile, thank you so much for your opinions, your expert opinion and views this evening. Really appreciate your insights.